Episode 2, You Can't Lead What You Resent, the truth about leadership fatigue. Welcome to the Legacy Leaders podcast, where we cut through the noise and talk about what it really takes to lead with heart, clarity, and lasting impact. I'm Janice Elsley, your host for today, leadership and change expert, international author, and unapologetic believer in doing leadership differently. And today's episode might stir something in you. We're talking about resentment. What happens when you're leading something or someone you secretly resent? Now, let's be honest. Resentment doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It builds quietly, slowly, until you start thinking, I'm the only one who shows up. No one sees what I'm carrying. If I don't do it, it won't get done. And when the mindset creeps in, you're not leading from purpose anymore. You're performing from pressure. So let's start at the beginning. The slow burn of unspoken resentment. It usually begins in service. You say yes. You over-deliver. You become the go-to, the dependable one. And at first, that feels so good. You feel useful, needed, in control. But over time, that yes starts to feel like a quiet no to yourself. Suddenly, you're stretched thin, you're irritated, you're snapping at people, and worst of all, you're bitter towards the very things that you loved. This isn't failure, it's feedback. Resentment is your body's alarm system saying something's off, something needs attention. Biologically, repeated obligation without appreciation activates your brain's stress response. That's why leadership fatigue feels like burnout, numbness, or detachment, because your nervous system thinks you're under threat even when it's just work. Now, resentment is data. It's not a defect. Let's talk about the shame loop. That little voice in your head that whispers, I should be grateful. This is part of the job. Other people have it worse. Stop right there. Here's the truth. Feeling resentment doesn't mean you're selfish or ungrateful. It means your leadership needs a realignment. Something your role, your responsibility, your boundaries needs restructuring. And admitting that doesn't make you less of a leader. It makes you more of an honest one. Maybe your mission still matters, but the method needs to change. That's leadership too. Checking in, reworking the model, making space for sustainability, not just survival. Rewrite or release. Here's where it gets real. You cannot lead with resentment and expect to inspire. You cannot build a legacy while holding quiet bitterness. And you don't have to. I need you to ask yourself, what am I carrying right now that doesn't feel aligned? Where am I leading from guilt instead of groundedness? If it still matters to you, rewrite the role. Change how you show up. You need to set your terms, ask for what you need. But if it no longer serves you, release it, let it go, delegate it, transition it. Trust that letting go isn't giving up, it's growing up. Sometimes the strongest move a leader can make is stepping back so someone else can step up. Now, this week's leadership challenge. What I want you to do is name one thing in your leadership life that feels heavy, unspoken, or full of tension. Maybe a task, a dynamic responsibility that feels more like a drain than a duty. Say it out loud, write it down, then ask yourself, does this still serve the leader I'm becoming? If the answer is yes, what needs to shift so you can lead with intention, not obligation? If the answer is no, what one small move can you make to start letting it go? Because leadership isn't about carrying everything. It's about knowing what's truly yours to carry and what's not. If this episode gave you permission to lay something down, share it with another leader who needs the same release. Because leading isn't with resentments, it's sustainability. But leading with intention, that's how you build legacy. You're allowed to evolve, you're allowed to let go, and you're also allowed to lead from clarity, not chronic obligation. Until next time, I'm Janice Elsley. Thanks for tuning in to the Legacy Leaders podcast. If today's message sparks something in you, share it and tag me on Instagram at Janice Elsley. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway, and don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more leaders find this message. And remember, legacy isn't later, it's how you lead today.